Champions Cup Sunday games, 2 games on over the weekend. I managed to catch these ones both delayed rather than live, but I was unspoiled to the results, so happy days. We'll go through some key events, some stats, and you guys can let me know your thoughts. Keeping in mind we're essentially at the halfway point in these matches because it's two-legged matches, so despite the fact that Montpellier and Leicester won, nothing is guaranteed yet. They've just set themselves up a bit better going into that next fixture. The first one, Montpellier and Harlequins, it's probably a start that Harlequins will look back on with a bit of disgust from their end, but likewise Montpellier won't be happy with the way they finished it because they end up with this 14-point buffer to Montpellier having to go across to London next week and play. But it could have been more. It could have been more if not for the Harlequins kind of fight back as the game went on. Harlequins, to be fair, they did actually have a few chances early. A line out in the Montpellier 22. They had a 5-metre scrum, but do you think they could score any points out of it? Not a chance. We did see another attempted drop goal from a goal line dropout. I think it was Bouthier from Montpellier tried that one. Nothing doing, but we've seen a lot of that. There's been a real resurgence in this after we saw a few of them in the initial weeks when we had the goal line dropout, then they kind of seemed to disappear. We're seeing an absolute resurgence of them, but none as good as Stuart Hogg's one from yesterday. And yeah, then the Harlequins, yeah, it is the Harlequins guys that start conceding tries. The first one is through Ngandebe on 21 minutes. That one is just loose ball. Harlequins will be looking at that one with a bit of frustration. So it's 7-0. Mercer, who has a cracking game, he gets one, plus Esterhazen gets yellow carded for a deliberate knock-on. So suddenly it's 14-0, and Harlequins are down a man. They immediately concede a try to Reinach, and then another one to Mercer, and then even Lamosatelli gets one. I think his one was the start of the second half. So it's an absolute relentless flurry of tries. The 4-letter pass for Mercer's one was the big prop. Was pretty beautiful stuff. Reinach was into a bit of everything. I mean, Reinach, I'll get to his stats, has 84 run meters, and I'm pretty sure he goes up at half time. So, yeah, he is very, very dangerous, especially when he's given any kinds of space. That being said, from the point when they are 34-0 down, Harlequins finally managed to get on the board. Hammond gets one. That one was from a little Smith grubber through. The crowd didn't like that one. You're 34-0 up, and boy, did they boo. They hated that one. I guess they thought he was offside. Looked all right to me, but yeah, the crowd, they're ferocious. Yeah, the crowd didn't like that at all. So you're 34-5. Esterhazen managed to reach out for his one, showed a bit of power, a bit of the old go-go gadget arm. So yeah, good stuff. 12 points on the board, and then it's 19 unanswered points when Marchant gets his one there, kind of whittling down that lead. The crowd also didn't like that one because they didn't like the pass. The pass drifts forward, definitely, but the hands, for mine, I got no stake in this game. It looked flat. The hands didn't look to send the ball forward straight away. The ball kind of traveled with the momentum, right? Like, that's the way it always happens if you're running at full tilt. That's just for mine. If you're a Montpellier fan, you may disagree because your brain doesn't like it when you can see the ball obviously moving forward, but I don't think it was forward out the hand. So yeah, 34-19, and Liner gets an intercept as well with 2 minutes to go to make it 26 points for Quins, but they did concede a couple of penalties, so Montpellier still bring up 40 points. So yeah, it's that period, 31, 34, 38, 41, those tries for Montpellier that the Quins fans will be looking back at, shaking their heads, and then it's a similar story, 50, 61, 65 for Quins. So yeah, bit of momentum shifts, but certainly a very entertaining game. And the crowd, I mean, they were booing, but they were really active, which was really pleasing to see, and are really involved in the game. Run meters 592 to 628. That's high. Clean breaks 9 to 4. That's pretty high. Montpellier has to make 140 tackles to 99. So it's not just an attacking shift from them. It's partly won by defence. Reinach 84 run meters, like I mentioned. Liner 183, a clean break and a try assist. So yeah, Mercer gets man of the match. He was everywhere. Top stuff. We do it again in a week for those two teams. The second one, Clermont and Leicester. Leicester get a pretty tidy away win. I mean, Freddie Stewart, and the crowd was pretty loud in this one, I should add as well. Freddie Stewart got absolutely smashed early. He was winded for quite some time, but I mean, he still comes back, bounces back to have a pretty decent game, I think. That being said, Clermont get the first try for Tiberian on 12 minutes. Matsushima kind of set that one up. Unfortunately, Matsushima went off relatively early as well with an injury. But Genji hits back from close range. And it's pretty tentative stuff, but the Genji try, I think, had been coming for a while. Penalty makes it 10 points to 5. And then Leicester, they really do start to dominate for a wee bit. Montoya goes over on 32 minutes. They had to check that one to see if he'd kind of double moved on the ground, but it's like he placed it, picked it up and got back up and went again. So the referee was happy enough with that one to make it 10 points apiece at half time. And then second half in Portfleet, they mentioned that I think when Para started his career, Van Portfleet was like 5 years old, because Van Portfleet dummies when he snipes from the back of a maul and goes over. So, you know, the youngster gets that one over the veteran, I guess, being the main point there. So that's when Leicester finally go in the lead. And then, yeah, a few tries came from kicks, the box kick for the Salmaki one, I think, set it up. Or was it the Potter one? And then Stewart got a high ball as well. Yeah, that's what I mentioned about him. Despite the fact that he'd taken a knock early, was still able to kind of win those aerial balls. Porter, though, I forgot to write it on the board, did go off for a head clash with Fritz Lee off the ball as well. He just kind of ran right into him, clattered him head to head. Nothing intentional about it, but it's one of those ones where, did you use your head, intentionally or not, to smack another guy in the head? Yes, the referee gives him a red card. We see a lot of head-on-head reds this year, especially. But yeah, real handbags on 72 minutes as well. I like this Georgian ref, but it took him a long time to get that one under control. A lot of blows of the whistle. Every ref, when the players are doing the handbags thing, has a different strategy to kind of defuse it. His was just to continuously blow the whistle. Some refs kind of stand off. Some refs really get in there and block it. I don't know. But it went on for a bit longer than I think he would have liked. But yeah, 29 points to 10. Certainly a pretty tidy lead going back to Welford Road next week. So Leicester will be big time favourites for that one. Leicester's maul was effective, man. Montoya has 17 from 17 tackles to go with his try. Run meters are 424 to 281, so it's Clermont with that. But I mean, Leicester's kicking game is something else. Clean breaks 4 apiece. Turnovers conceded 13 to 5. Clermont with 13, so yeah, it's a bit of a frustrating one for them. Raka has 100 plus run meters and a couple of clean breaks. Tiberian has 80 odd run meters, so there's some entertainment in this one as well. But yeah, Leicester just continue on what has been a cracking 2021-2022 season for them. So we'll see how far they can go. You guys let me know your thoughts on the games, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.